There was a time when simply being alive was enough to take your breath away, when the rising sun felt like a divine performance and every night sky was a cathedral of mystery. You could sit in the grass and feel the heartbeat of the world, the rustle of wind, the movement of clouds, the slow rhythm of time. Back then, you didn't need an explanation for everything. You didn't need to understand it to be amazed. You just looked and something deep inside whispered, "This is good." But now, that feeling is gone. The world has become ordinary. Every miracle has turned into information. You can explain the rainbow, but you can't feel it anymore. You can describe love, but not experience it with the same purity. You know the chemical formula of water, but not the taste of wonder in a drop of rain. Somehow everything has become smaller, including you. This is the death of wonder, and it's the quiet tragedy of the modern soul. You live in a time when humanity has more access to beauty, knowledge, and experience than ever before, and yet you feel less alive. You've seen mountains in 4K, oceans from satellites, and galaxies through telescopes, and still you feel nothing. Why? Because wonder isn't about what you see. It's about how you see. And modern life has trained you to see everything but notice nothing. Your eyes move faster than your heart can follow. Your mind races ahead of your soul. You scroll through sunsets, through faces, through miracles, but never pause long enough to let any of it change you. You live surrounded by infinite color, but you see in grayscale. And that is what it means to lose wonder. Once the human heart was wired for awe. It was our first form of knowledge, the oldest kind of wisdom. A child sees a flame and reaches for it, not to destroy it, but to understand its light. Early humans looked at the stars and didn't feel small. They felt connected. Philosophy, art, and faith all began in that one moment of amazement before the unknown. But then came control. We began to trade wonder for certainty, to replace mystery with explanation. We told ourselves that knowledge would make us free, that if we could understand everything, we would finally be happy. But it didn't make us free, it made us numb, because wonder cannot survive in a world that demands control. To wonder is to let something be bigger than you, and that is what we've forgotten how to do. We now live in a world that worships knowing. Every question must have an answer. Every silence must be filled. Every mystery must be solved. We dissect the flower to understand its beauty and end up killing it in the process. We measure, analyze, explain, and lose the part of ourselves that used to simply behold. Science was never the enemy of wonder. Pride was. The arrogance that says, if I can explain it, it has no mystery left. But the truth is the opposite. The more you understand, the more awe you should feel. Because every law of physics, every pattern of biology, every atom of the cosmos, they all whisper of something far greater than the sum of their parts. Understanding should lead to worship, not boredom. But we've forgotten how to worship. Now, instead of wonder, we chase stimulation. We want to feel something, but not for long. Everything is designed to entertain, not enlighten. The sacred has been replaced with spectacle. Your phone buzzes every few minutes. Dopamine on demand. Every app is an altar to distraction. You are never still, never bored, never quiet, and yet you are never satisfied. Because comfort doesn't bring peace. It only makes you softer. And in this endless flood of information and noise, wonder drowns. You can't hear the stars anymore over the sound of your playlist. You can't feel the wind when you're thinking about your next notification. You can't taste food when you eat with one hand and scroll with the other. You can't feel the depth of love when your heart is already divided between 10 screens. We have made life convenient but not meaningful, fast but not full, loud but not alive. And so, little by little, the sense of mystery, the soul's capacity for awe, fades. But here's something no one tells you. Wonder doesn't die by accident. It dies by neglect, by habit, by distraction. It dies every time you trade presence for productivity, every time you rush through beauty instead of resting in it, every time you look without seeing, or speak without thinking, or live without listening. You have to fight for wonder, because the modern world is at war with it. Wonder requires stillness, but the world trains you for noise. Wonder requires humility, but the world rewards pride. Wonder requires slowness, but the world celebrates speed. To rediscover wonder is to rebel against the system that wants to keep you numb. Do you remember the first time you saw the night sky? The first time you realized how vast it was, how endless, and that you were a part of it? That feeling was wonder, and maybe without realizing it, that was the closest you've ever been to prayer, because to wonder is to kneel, even if your knees never touch the ground. It's the moment your soul remembers that you are not the center of the universe, and that's a good thing, because it means the burden of control isn't yours. To rediscover wonder, you must allow yourself to be small again, not insignificant. Small, to be a child again, in the best sense, because a child doesn't need to understand to love. They don't need proof to trust. They don't need meaning to feel joy. They just live in the raw miracle of being. Somewhere along the way, we lost that. We grew up, but not upward. We learned facts, but forgot truth. We gained the world and lost the eyes to see it. And it's not that adults can't experience wonder. It's that we've built defenses against it. We call it maturity. We call it being realistic. But it's really just fear. Fear of being vulnerable. Fear of being wrong. Fear of feeling too deeply. Wonder asks you to open your heart to what you cannot control. And that's terrifying for a world obsessed with safety. We build walls to protect ourselves from pain, but those same walls block beauty. We numb ourselves to disappointment, but also to delight. You can't selectively numb emotion. If you numb pain, you numb joy. If you numb fear, you numb awe. And so, in our pursuit of comfort, we've created an emotional flatline. But what if you could feel again? What if you could see again, not with your eyes, but with your soul? That's what wonder does. It reawakens the parts of you that the world has put to sleep. Imagine standing in the rain and not just thinking about getting wet, but feeling it, really feeling it, as if it were the first rain in the history of the world. Imagine looking into someone's eyes and realizing that behind them lies a consciousness, a mystery, a soul. Imagine hearing music and letting it move you without analyzing it. That's the beginning of resurrection. Not of your body, but of your soul. Wonder isn't just an emotion. It's a way of living. It's a discipline, a spiritual posture. It's something you can train, the same way you train focus or patience. You begin by slowing down, by creating small moments of stillness in your day where you don't consume anything. Sit in silence, look out a window, listen to a sound, do nothing, and let the world speak. At first it feels strange, empty, because silence is unfamiliar to a noisy soul. But the silence isn't empty, it's full. It's just waiting for you to notice. Then start to practice gratitude, not as a moral exercise, but as a lens for seeing reality. Gratitude is the root of wonder, because the moment you say thank you, you admit that something has been given. And once you recognize life as a gift, you start to see beauty in places you ignored before. There's a reason all ancient traditions, from the philosophers of Greece to the mystics of the church, began with wonder, because wonder humbles the mind and expands the soul. It reminds us that knowledge is not ownership, that truth is not ours to control. Socrates began every discussion not with answers but with amazement. Aristotle called wonder the beginning of philosophy, and Thomas Aquinas saw it as the natural response of the human soul to the divine. Because when you look deeply enough into creation, you can't help but sense the Creator. Even modern science, when it's honest, leads back to wonder. The deeper you look into the atom, the more mysterious it becomes. The further you gaze into the universe, the more you realize how impossibly delicate existence is. Every cell in your body is a symphony of motion. Every breath is borrowed air, fine-tuned to sustain you. You are not here by accident, and neither is the beauty that surrounds you. But here's the final truth. You will never rediscover wonder until you stop trying to own it. We treat beauty like a product. We want to capture it, photograph it, possess it. But wonder dies the moment you turn it into content. It only lives when you allow it to move you without trying to hold it. You cannot bottle wonder, you can only behold it. And in that act of beholding, when your heart is quiet, your mind open, and your soul receptive, that's when life becomes luminous again. Wonder is not dead. It's waiting. It's there every morning when the light hits your face. It's in the voice of someone who forgives you. It's in the silence of the night when you finally stop running. It's in the mystery of why there is something rather than nothing. You don't have to travel far to find it. You just have to wake up. Because the truth is, the world has never stopped being miraculous. We just stopped paying attention. And maybe, just maybe, the first step back to joy, to meaning, to God Himself is simply learning to wonder again.